So, as ViaInvest is sitting together with ViaInvest Group, we have another colleagues also here. So, here's our support department. Okay, let's go for that.
ViaInvest ist eine Tochter der Via SMS Group, die in ganz Europa Privatkredite vergibt. In diese können wir wiederum als Privatanleger investieren und davon profitieren. Heute war ich bei dieser P2P-Plattform zu Besuch und habe eure Fragen mitgebracht. Die befinden sich mit Timestamps unten in der Videobeschreibung und auch in den Kommentaren. Jetzt geht's auch mit dem Video los. Ich wünsche viele Learnings und viel Spaß bei dem Video.
Hallo und herzlich willkommen zu einem neuen Video von Northern Finance. Ich bin hier heute mit der Simona als Plattform-Lead von ViaInvest bei der Via SMS Group. Und heute gibt es mal hier im Office von ViaInvest ein kleines Interview und jetzt wechseln wir zu Englisch. Okay, Simona, so for the people who are maybe not already familiar with you, please just introduce yourself shortly and what you do here.
Okay, so first of all, welcome. We are happy to have you in our office. And yes, as you said, my name is Simona. I am working for both ViaInvest Group and ViaInvest. And here in ViaInvest, I'm a platform lead, but for ViaInvest Group, I'm doing PR and marketing communications. So I think it's pretty obvious why I have switched to ViaInvest, because all this relationship building and community building around the platform also requires some skills from PR and marketing and everything.
Sure.
Yeah, so I'm here for almost 3 years now.
Almost 3 years?
Yeah.
And what was your reason to come here?
Actually, before that, I was working for a government agency, but I understood that I need some more space to expand my skills and everything, and this company seemed like really perspective. And actually, when I was coming to the job interview, I didn't know that they were launching the platform, and I was really surprised, positively surprised, because I have heard at that time about P2P and its expansion over Europe, and I was really excited to help to launch the platform.
Okay, cool. It's nice to hear, and I not only have my own questions, but also some from investors.
Yeah.
And the first one is already concerning your platform and how it works. So will there be a way to deny further credit lines for the people who take the loans? So are you
borrowers,
thinking? Yeah, for the borrowers.
About credit lines, I must say that here in Latvia, for example, there are some huge changes coming up. Probably investor community is already aware of that we will have legislation changes starting from July 1st. That will kind of set a new interest rate for borrowers. If you speak about credit lines, then of course the credit scoring will be more strict starting from this point. But I think that credit line as a product is becoming more and more popular, not only among our clients as a ViaInvest Group or loan originator, but also among other companies that are doing lending here in Latvia. So I think this is the future, and this is the product all the companies will eventually switch to. So short-term loans, as the legislative framework in Latvia is pretty complicated for short-term loans to survive.
Yeah.
So I think, particularly in Latvian market, credit lines are like the future product.
Okay.
But in other countries, I must say that there's no particular reason to change anything in a credit scoring or denying applications or anything, because I think credit line is pretty flexible product, both for the loan originator and the borrower, and I think we will continue in the same path as before.
Yeah, I think the issue of this investor who gave me this question was just that there's such a little time frame to say, okay, I would not like this borrower to extend his credit line.
Okay,
I think that was the issue.
Yeah. So in this case, of course, we as a platform has thought about potential solution for investors who would not like to continue their investments. So we have this initialized buyback option. So if the investor has invested in the loan and 120 days have passed, the investor can manually withdraw from the investment by clicking one button, and he gets back his invested principal principal and both they earned interest. So this is a possible solution if maybe at some point investor does not feel confident enough to continue his investments with the credit lines. But about the prolongation, I think it's nothing bad if you compare with the short-term loans, because in that case people also can prolong, and with the credit line we have some certain stability because we have calculated the payments for borrower for a long time period, and he kind of relies on that schedule. So prolongation that usually is like a change of payment date is nothing special, and I don't think that investors should worry about this.
Okay, thank you for that answer.
Yeah.
And maybe even before you joined the Via SMS group as general, did you already invest into peer-to-peer lending, or did that come with a change to the company?
No, actually I had some friends who were already working for P2P industry here in Latvia, and I tried P2P investing just a little bit before. But all the knowledge and all the understanding came when I started to work here, because you can see everything from the inside and you finally get the idea to the core. So, but yeah, I tried. I had some spare savings, and I tried the platform that was before. It was Mintos, and it gave me like an overall insight into what's happening in P2P.
Yeah.
But of course now I'm more like into investing in ViaInvest, and as I trust ourselves and I trust our loan originators, I don't see any reason why I shouldn't.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I mean, that's very important to actually believe in your product.
Yeah, definitely.
And then actually put your money also into it.
And of course it gives me some insight from the user perspective, because when you just manage something and haven't tried it yourself, you kind of cannot feel this the things investor would do or would want, or steps he is taking to make successful investments. So this gives like really insider insight into everything.
Yeah, that's true. And what would you say is the USP for investors at ViaInvest, maybe also for those viewers who are not too familiar with your platform, just in a few sentences?
Yeah, well, I think that from now on, as we have set the one interest rate for all loans, I think we can offer a pretty unique and attractive portfolio. The interest rate right now on the platform is 11%. That may be a bit lower than some huge platforms with more risky loan originators offer, but still I think with all the factors we have, that is a group in the background that ensures all liabilities and a buyback guarantee for all loans, I think our portfolio is very stable, pretty unique, and I think it's very safe for investors to try and just experience this thing that will not change like in a day, or I don't know, some unexpected things would not happen.
Okay. And also another question by one of the investors. Why does ViaInvest withhold certain payments because of tax reasons of the borrowers? And why do other platforms apparently not seem to do this?
Yeah, well, in this case, I must say that this thing has occurred because of the country where we are registered as a company in Latvia. There is no one certain regulation for P2P industry in general. So at the beginning, when we set up the platform, everything was based on the interpretation of existing legislation. And in that case, I mean, Mintos can interpret loans how they see it. We can do it in other ways. Maybe Twino does it in other ways. So everyone interpreted laws how it was at that moment. And yes, we kind of made this decision to withhold taxes on the platform, but we have understood that this thing is not very popular among investors, obviously, and we have tried to negotiate this thing with the local Latvian state revenue agency that is managing taxes and everything, and as a result, we have cancelled these taxes on the platform for Polish loans and for Latvian loans. And for Czech Republic and Spain, we are still discussing and trying to find a solution. How can we cancel this?
Okay, so you say the reason for this was that there was no clear regulation, but you had well, kind of talks or negotiations, or how to put it, with the authorities to make sure it's okay. Okay, I think that's very good to know.
Yeah, I mean, we receive a lot of questions about this topic, and sometimes it's very hard to explain why we made this decision. But ViaInvest Group has always been very careful with the legislation and trying to ensure the most secure possible outcome for both the company and for clients. So that's why we made this maybe some not very comfortable step, but still we introduced these taxes. But now we are trying to negotiate the more positive outcome.
Very good, very good. Okay, and are you planning a geographical expansion? So, for example, the Bondora platform is now very active in Finland, and they have made a great process with the collection and recovery. Are you also thinking into that direction, or what should investors expect?
In terms of platform, I guess maybe we can think about adding new loan originator, as ViaInvest Group still has one loan originator that is not on the platform, and it comes from Romania. But
when will that come?
Actually, I'm not sure, because the Romanian market for us is pretty new. We just launched the product there in 2018, and we are still trying to settle down and feel comfortable and safe to offer these loans to investors, because we need some background to really establish a thing. So, but I think eventually it will come to platform and it will be listed, and everything will be fine. In terms of the group as a loan originator, I think probably our board is thinking about expanding to other countries, because currently we work in 7 countries in the European Union. But let's see what will come. By now I cannot give you a certain answer about particular countries or anything. But in terms of platform, new loan originator must come. But if we talk about expanding outside the European Union, it's a question about.
And you already mentioned the fixed interest rate on the platform. I kind of imagine it a little bit like a bond. So a bond also has a fixed interest rate, and you know you are going to get this interest, and the only reason why this should not happen is if the company goes into default. But here, this fixed interest rate is not promised to always stay the same, right? When would you inform investors if this goes up or down?
Well, usually changing interest rates really depends on the board decision, and of course it may change depending on business needs in every country or anything. But currently, why we decided to introduce this one interest rate was that we have listed Sweden for 9%, and this market is very promising and very trustful, but 9% interest rate wasn't very attractive for investors. So we kind of thought about the options, how could we leverage the big Sweden with the low interest rate and the small Czech Republic with the high interest rate. And then we kind of decided that 11% is pretty good for both the company and investors. But about the informing investors, usually we do it like a few weeks before something changes, and also it depends on the situation and everything. But as we have done before, it's like 3 to 2 weeks before, and we kind of introduce these changes not on the one day, but try to prepare investors and make everything right.
Okay, good to hear. And how would you describe the average investor on your platform? What are their needs, and what do they want to see basically in terms of performance, maybe?
Well, the average investor is definitely coming from Germany. And the Germans are the biggest part of our investors.
How much approximately in percent?
Now it was like 46% approximately. They are followed by Latvians, by the way. That is interesting. No, by Spanish people, and then comes Latvians. So the top 3 is like German, Spain, and Latvia. Well, usually investors want the basic thing they want for their auto invest to work very, very effectively, and usually people do not want to see any spare funds laying in their investor account. They want everything to be invested, and for that reason we have also changed our auto invest settings for many times, trying to find this most effective thing, because people were usually trying to catch check loans with the 12%, but the portfolio was pretty small, so we were looking for options how to satisfy everyone. But in general, I would say that our investors are very pleasant, and they do not create some, I don't know, problems that we cannot solve. I mean, usually people are coming with the very reasonable suggestions, and whether it be filters or maybe, I don't know, they're asking for new loan originators. That is completely understandable, because people want to diversify their portfolio. And yeah, I would say that the effective auto invest and effective filters are things that people usually need.
Okay. And how did the company develop in recent months? Maybe also how many people are working now at your company?
Yeah, so as you can see from our office, we are sitting together with ViaInvest Group, and it helps us a lot, because in ViaInvest, particularly working on ViaInvest, there are only 3 people. That 2 of them are investor advisors, and 1 of them is a developer. But we have a huge team of other professionals working here. That is legal, risks, customer support for loan originators, developers team, marketing, and everything. And
all of these. An approximate number?
Yeah, here in Riga office we have approximately 90 people.
90 people.
In general, we have like 140 in Europe.
So for the whole group?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So basically, all group is working also for ViaInvest.
Yeah.
If we need legal advice or marketing advice or anything, we just go to to our colleagues sitting right next to us and just ask and do everything together. So yeah, ViaInvest is surrounded by the group all the time, and everything is controlled all the time. So we are really thankful for all the people who work here, because they help us on a daily basis.
Okay, and what are your plans for the rest of the year for ViaInvest?
Well, hopefully we will introduce Spanish language really soon, because this has been a huge need for our investors, for a growing Spanish community. Then we are thinking about redesign, because personally I feel that the old design has become old-fashioned a little bit, and it could be more effective and more attractive visually. Then, well, I don't know. Let's see what happens with the Romania. Maybe we will introduce this new loan originator until the end of the year. And of course, the huge changes that are coming to all platforms operating in Latvia is the legislation changes. Not really changes, but introduction of particular regulation for this industry. So we will have one government body that will regulate platforms, and there will be like equal rules of the game for everyone. Yeah. So I think this is a really great chance both for platforms and investors, because everything will be regulated, and you will have a clear instructions what to do what, and it will, I think, guarantee more safety for investors.
Okay. And now from this specific look on ViaInvest, what do you see as future developments of the P2P market in Europe in general?
Well, I think it will definitely grow. There is no factors that could or would stop it, and I think companies will introduce new solutions that will be combined with other types of products. For example, with the electronic money institutions, the payment cards, digital payments in general, and everything will be mixed and will offer like a full range of services by one company. So investor will not be stressed anymore by making some bank payments or checking documents or anything separately. Everything will be in the one package. So I think P2P will get more convenient for investors. I believe so.
Okay. And are you also in the long term aiming for this direction?
Well, as ViaInvest Group has launched its electronic money institution called Violet, that offers digital payments and the credit card, Well, let's see. We do not have a particular plan at the moment for this year, but I think it may shift in that direction, that we will merge the accounts and maybe offer investors more convenient services in terms of making payments and currency exchange and everything.
Okay.
So yeah, I think that's the future, and basically why not to do that if we can benefit investors.
And then that could also be something like personal IBAN for every investor.
Hopefully, yes, definitely. Because right now, Violet, this digital payments platform, they offer personal IBAN. So merging two things, I think it's not a problem.
Okay, great. And how will ViaInvest stay competitive? Because some platforms are growing very aggressively. I think there are many good platforms. How will you really differentiate yourself? That was also one question from the investors.
Well, I think the one thing we can definitely ensure investors is stability. Because some other platforms, they may act as only a platform that connects some outside loan originators and investors. But in our case, we can guarantee everything about loan originators because we own them. And this gives us more confidence in terms of guaranteeing security. But about the expansion, of course, we cannot say that we will grow as a Mintos does or anything, because by now our management has decided to keep the circle of loan originators closed, only list our own loan originators. But then again, there's this licensation coming up in this year, and maybe this will change some business planning or business structure or anything. So I think in any scenario it will bring on only positive changes. So I'm also very interested in what will come after this regulation is finally introduced, and then everything has the same rules for the field. So let's see.
And you just said that you will, for now, not open the circle of loan originators. How are you then tackling if you have high user growth, and will there then be enough loans on your platform for the demand to satisfy it?
Yeah, well, another business goal, of course, of ViaSMS Group is to raise a loan portfolio. And we are doing this constantly in Latvia and in Sweden particularly, because these products in these countries are very, very popular. And for Latvia particularly, this is also important because of the new interest rate for borrowers. We need to grow the portfolio very aggressively, so we have a profit for the company as a loan originator, and also we have a material to publish on the platform. So by now we are keeping up to this strategy and going aggressively and playing aggressively in the field of loan origination, and the platform just keeps up with the demand from investors. But of course, it's a legit question, and I can understand the worries of investors who maybe think that at one point the loans will end and they will not have anything to invest in. But from today's perspective, I can say that in the future, in the nearest future, I don't see this problem. So hopefully we will keep up.
Okay, good to know for the investors, I think, which direction you are going in. And let's say you have a friend and she asks you, well, Simona, I heard you're working in kind of the P2P industry. I'm interested in it to start investing. What would be your advice to your friend? How to start and how to use your platform?
Okay. Well, my first and the most, I think, important advice is always think about diversification, not only in terms of one platform, but smart investor will definitely diversify his investments among many platforms. And that's why I don't see other platforms as competitors, because we are working with one community, and we must keep up with the pace and must be friends and exchange information, because all investors particularly are on a lot of platforms. So we are all friends here, and we need to work to create this great environment.
Yeah.
Especially because a lot of platforms come from Latvia, and it's also a question of reputation.
That's true.
Yeah, but if we think about ViaInvest, I think there's no particular things you need to avoid, because we have this one interest rate that is pretty attractive for investors. Then we have a buyback guarantee, and then everything else depends on the wishes of the investor. I would definitely suggest my friend, as I already did actually. I have my best friend who is already investing. I suggested her to set up auto invest and definitely to invest in all countries, because it will help to diversify the portfolio, and also in case of, I don't know, if Spanish portfolio goes lower, for example, then she will have her investment switched to another country. So no money will left uninvested, and just keeping in the investor account.
Okay. We're coming towards the end of this interview. If the viewers have any questions about your platform and how it works, what would be the easiest way for them to get help with that?
Whatever way is convenient for investors. We try to answer to any channel of communication like in 15 minutes, so you can drop us an email.
15 minutes, wow.
We're trying. That's our KPI for support, because I know that some platforms that has a huge number of investors, it's pretty logical that they cannot process all the requests for information in 1 day or 2 days, but we are really trying to keep up, and this is our goal, to provide information in a timely manner. So just drop us an email or write an online chat or Facebook or anything. We will answer anyways.
Okay, so then thank you very much for this interview,
Thank
Simona.
you for coming.
I really enjoyed it, and now let's do the office tour.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so as ViaInvest is sitting together with ViaInvest Group, we have another colleagues also here. So here's our support department for Swedish loan originator, and particularly they are doing debt collection here. So let's go. Here we have our ViaInvest heroes, Valeria and Alvils. They are supporting investors daily and doing everything from here. Then here's our marketing department, also doing things for the group and ViaInvest. And we have a guest this week, Marek from Czech Republic. He's country manager for Czech loan originator. Okay, let's go. Hi guys. So here's our friend, one of our bloggers and publishers, and here's our legal team and anti-money laundering specialist. Then we have a product team, only one person present now. Hi Tanya. And there's a risk team working for group and all loan originators in ViaInvest. And these guys also are working for them. Okay. And the last but not least, the finance department. Hi guys. So this is our finance department working for the group and ViaInvest and all loan originators. So really busy people here. Okay. So yeah, this is it. Here we have a kitchen where we spend our free time. Yeah, that's kind of it. We also have a loan originator for Latvia here in Riga office, but I think we will not disturb them this time, because this is a really busy Wednesday and Thursday is really busy days for them because of the high demand for the loans in these days. So let's